immediately for a very long time, so I didn't have so much contact with him. But I had these, I had a little plastic camera, and I bought these cassettes which you could put inside, which were making slides. And they come with an envelope, and then you send them to your house. But I was living in India, so it wasn't good to send it back to India because you... So I sent it all to his house. And I never saw the pictures, or at least for 2 years or something. Then I went to Holland, and I went to see my friend, and I brought him a bracelet, and I told him about my experiences. I thought it was very alien for him. He thought I had gone a little strange. But somehow, from all these pictures, which he had been looking at what I was doing there, and he had taken one of them, and he printed a picture, and he put it on his wall from the Moti in Chile. But for him it had a totally different meaning than it had for me. And I told him about this, and he was just listening attentively, but I could see that he couldn't feel it in the way that I felt that. And I went back to India shortly after, and I stayed there again for years. And then I started to live, after that I started to live in Holland, and then he was telling me that he was sometimes suffering from hyperventilation. I actually didn't even know what it was. It was some anxious breathing, but I never thought how bad it was because I saw him on normal moments and you didn't see anything on him. Then a few months later I hadn't seen him for some months, and he comes back to me and says, "What an incredible story happened to me. One night I'm going to bed, and all of a sudden I get one of those attacks. And it becomes so strong, it was like a huge hand was getting me, and I thought I was going to die. I was lying there breathing, and I thought I have to wake up my wife. But he didn't, he thought that's, because your mind is not so clear when that happens, so he thought, I can't wake up my wife, I wake her up and then I'm dying. No, I will just die here. So he's lying there and he thinks, I have to call on a higher power, but I don't believe in anything. What can I call on? So and then he thought, my friend Raghuvir, as you know, he knew me differently, but he said, he spoke about this Babaji. And what was it again? Oh yeah, on this bracelet it said Om Namah Shivaya. Oh, Babaji, help! Om Namah Shivaya. And he's doing that. I had given him also a mala. He had a Buddha statue in his house, and I put a mala around. It was just an object for beauty. He didn't have any relationship to that also. He had a mala there, so I told him about this Om Namah Shivaya, but he'd never done anything like that. But he started to repeat a few times, Om Namah Shivaya. And all of a sudden a blue light appears in the room. And a voice is right in his head, in his ear, and he says, relax. This is bad, but it's going to be much worse tomorrow. But it's okay. It's okay, don't worry. And on that moment he heard a car door slam outside of his house and a car drive away, and on that moment he felt completely peaceful. And he fell back to sleep. Oh yeah, Babaji had also told him, you won't remember anything. So the next morning he wakes up and the day starts normal, and he goes on with his things, with his wife, and in the middle of the day he gets again one of those attacks, but this time it was really bad. He was convulsing on the floor, and his wife in panic, so she calls the ambulance. The ambulance, yes, it's very busy at the moment, it'll take about 40 minutes. He doesn't look like he can breathe, so she goes in panic and she goes to the window to see if she can shout something, and there's a police car standing with the neighbor. So she, hey, help, my husband dying. So they come inside, and they also don't know what to do, but some first aid kind of stuff, and they call the ambulance, and then he comes immediately. And they came and they put a pipe in his mouth and he started to breathe again, and they tried to bring him back. And then on that moment also his own doctor, which they had also called, starts arriving, and so he comes back to life and he starts breathing, and the ambulance goes away, but the doctor stays with him, and the doctor wants to find out, but talking with him about what happened. And all of a sudden, while he's doing that, he remembered that Babaji had gone out, that there was this voice in his ear the evening before, and that he had said, "Oh, Babaji, help, Om Namah Shivaya." And he felt better. After it, still he had sometimes hyperventilation, but it never been so bad anymore. But for me, to hear, when he told me that story, he was my friend. He had no faith in any of this. But I had told him, and he had remembered just the name of Babaji and that Om Namah Shivaya, and on the moment that he had called for help, Babaji was there. I don't know, it was my friend or just because it was Babaji, he called out Babaji's name, but in a way he is so close, so subtle, everywhere present, that anybody who earnestly calls on him, because I'm sure he was very earnestly on that moment, that Babaji comes.
Yeah, it almost looks like he's our own self.
Yeah.
It's a very strange feeling.
Now look at that. Yes.
Well, I have one that I see so many new faces. It does not relate much to family, but so I tell what happened, then you can make your own, because I'm not sure still what to make out of it. So this was about 89, so 5 years after Babaji took Mahasamadhi, left the body, and I had to go to Milan for my job to see, and I was a host from some devotee's friend. So I take the train in the night from Cisternino, and I remember waking up with like first dawn and light in the train, and I had this very calm, it was very calm, very peaceful my mind. Then I go in, I arrive at home of these friends that I talked 2 days before with the husband. So I'm coming, that morning I arrived there and said, "Oh yeah, friend, wonderful, I'm happy to see you." So I ring the bell, he opens the door, "Ah, it's you!" Okay, not so happy to see me, and rather so there was some tension in the house between the husband and wife, and I love them very dearly, so I go one moment in the bathroom, I sit on the toilet and I think, wow, please, help them, they are so beautiful, and so anyway, this day starts, the husband go to work, the wife is a little nervous, so I said, "I help you, we can clean the house." So we cleaned all the house. Then she left and the husband came, and everything was relaxed, nice atmosphere. Around 4 o'clock, we get a phone call that Raghuvir, who was living in Milan at that time, called, "I just arrived from Holland, where are you?" I'm very close. So he came over, and we were there, and we said, "What should we do?" But I mixed it up this story a little bit. How I told it. Come back. So this is 89. I go to Haidakhan for Navaratri. Cancel the rest of this part for a moment. I go to Navaratri 89. And Shastriji is there to Navaratri. And I was having big trouble with my wife in the family. I did, Babaji married me with a woman I didn't know, an Italian woman, but I didn't know. I did a real Hindu sati. But after 9 years, she apparently got tired, so there was a lot of tension and trouble in the marriage. So I see Shastriji there, and suddenly Muriraj said that Shastriji will read the hand, in the after. So I think, could be a nice moment to do this, no, to read the hand again 8 years ago, the first time, and now this. So I go to read my hand, and I decide in myself before to go that I wasn't going to talk about my wife, no, because it was a little cheap situation. And so I didn't want to talk about it, because Shastaji also gives this feeling that he was living in a bubble of Satya Yuga, golden age, so I didn't want to bother him with this. So he talks to me about all the chakras and things, and then he asked me, how is the marriage? And so I said, oh, well, the marriage, you know, this always some trouble. And he said, your wife is your greatest teacher. He is your greatest teacher. She's giving you the highest teachings. Otherwise, how can you become a saint? And he started laughing. So I laughed with him too. And then he gives a quick look. Now he had this little silver plaque. Yeah, silver plaque. And then he called it my television that Baba gave him, so he could see a distance. And I say, anyway, I see here that you had twice Babaji's darshan since he left the body. And I looked at him and he said, you mean dreams or? No, you actually met him in the physical body. And then he looked at me and said, maybe you don't remember. But maybe you can remember. No? And it just finishes and I go. I was very anxious about my wife, you know. I had a broken record syndrome, you know, when your mind goes always back, you know, to the situation of the family. So I didn't give much importance. Shastaji always telling fantastic things, you know. So, and then we go through all the Navaratri stuff, and at the time you had the Havankund, the Yagya were in the Gufa side, but still you had to have the lunch up. I was standing in the Gufa, so finish, we go up, and then you get into this big cloud of this energy like now here, and fantastic, that takes your mind away. And then I come down from lunch with my commandant, and I take the water from the Ramdar, you know, because it was the very pure water. So I go there, was a little trickle of water coming down of the Ramdar, so I put the commandant there, and I'm looking this little trickle of water filling the commandant, totally empty. No, I didn't think of my wife for the last 3 hours because. And then all of a sudden, I have a memory of this story that I was telling before. And that at the end, Rabu comes to the house of our common friend, and we decide, what shall we do? Well, let's go to see a movie. And we looked, there was not many nice movies, but there was one that was not so bad. It was Pirates with Walter Matthau. So we went to this theater in cinema in Milan. And I was still in a state of consciousness not usual. I remember that when I came out, I was in the middle. You were on my left and our friend on the right. And I felt your energy. You know? I felt how beautiful you are, and that's why Baba loves him so much. I thought of that because he was so beautiful, and our friend also the same. So we go to this theater, and we arrive, and there was this. We go in line to pay the ticket, and so there was this very nasty woman there at the cashier, and angry with you. I take out 10,000 lira and 1,000 coin notes flips like this and lands on my feet. I turn and I pick it up and I read, whoever finds this note, please pray for me, in a Muslim name. So I then with this note in my hand I said, Baba, bless this, and I do the name. I arrive in front of this woman, she made this beautiful smile, and she said, you want also popcorn? No, thank you. No, thank you. And then we go. And this was a little hall like this, and there was we hear the titles starting, so the movie is starting, and you were first, and there was this kind of old woman, quite fat, occupying almost all this little hall. And so you go like this quickly, and you pass, and then also our friend pass, and he also push a little, you know, and the lady like this. So I am about to follow, and then all of a sudden I felt that I had to respect this woman. No? So somebody was coming from the back, and I slow down, and we do this last meter together, and there are the curtains, and I do like this and open. And she turns to look at me and nods and smiles. And she was one of the most ugly women I ever seen. With this nose, like these big glasses, all the hair a little bit not nicely dressed. But she smiled and did like this. Okay. We go and sit and finish the movie. We go out. Same point there at the door with the curtain. I open the curtain. You go and our friend go ahead. And I see her in front of me, staring at me and smiling and nodding. And I felt a thing of attraction for this woman. Love. So I was surprised. I said, I thought, who are you, no? I thought, who are you, no? And I was about to go to ask him, who are you? And in that moment, from the other door, a couple arrived. And so the man looked at me and probably saw that I was... Then he looked at the woman, and then he looked back at me again. So I felt ashamed, embarrassed, and I went away, no? And all this came to my mind while the Kamandar was filling with the water of the Ramdara. And I thought, this could be the thing, twice. No, first coming in, and second coming out. I should ask Shastriji. So, all you know that after the program of Navaratri, Shastriji, the Durga Puja, and all the pujas, he is asleep in his room at 2 o'clock after Prasad. I turn around, and he's walking down in company bar. You know, when Shastriji was in a mission, forgot that he didn't know where he was, and like this. And so I said, Shastriji is here. I ran up to him, and I said, Shastriji, my Baba can take the form of an old, fat, ugly woman. And so he said, yes, he can take any form. He looked quickly at his television, and he said, yes, you are very blessed. And he put his hands on my head. So, I still am not sure what happened there. What to do.
The Kamandar fill up?
I wanted to share the story with you, because many of you did not meet that physical body that we know as Babaji. But really, we have to be very careful, very attentive, very awake every time we go out, because it can happen anytime, any moment. And also, look, I think, for the ugliest, because he likes to trick us, you know.
On the heels of what Ramlota said, my friend Diana Hunter, she was there with Babaji, and she had to leave, and I've told some of you this before, and she went to Baba and she said, I don't want to go home, I'm going to miss you so much. And he said, miss me? Which me? This me? This me? This me? This me? And she realized everything is Baba. So, of course, this old ugly woman was Babaji, as all are. Okay, so mine is Christmas, and I'm going to bring in family, but not much. It was Christmas '83, and it was raining, and there was this tent that they set up in the thing, and so we went in the morning, and I had bought this beautiful robe. I thought it was beautiful, for Baba, which was red with gold, that all the pictures of you guys are all he's wearing it. So, but anyway, the story is that when I went to give him his Christmas present, I had picked off every piece of lint off that thing and was just, couldn't wait to give it to him. And he took it, and he looked like, and he threw it over there, and then he just got some scarf. He had all these scarves he was giving people, and he just gave me one, like, you know, nothing special at all. But he acted like he really didn't like the robe. So, and also then some Indians took the stuff, and the sash for the robe was left in the box. So I said, oh shit, now he's lost the sash. Doesn't like the robe. So I was having kind of a hard Christmas, and I went down to the river, and I thought, and it was raining for lunch. There was prasad on the Gufa side that time, and it was all slippery. And they gave you a bowl of dal with an inch of water from the rain on top, and that was my Christmas meal. And I thought, oh, my family is at home having turkey, and really like, what the am I doing here? You know, I was like, I want Christmas with my family, and I was just miserable. It was miserable. But you know, it was all based on him not liking the robe, I have to admit. Had just ruined the day. So then I go and do my bath and everything. Okay, it's darshan that night, and that night the Americans, by country, he had people do puja to him. So that night was the American turn to do puja. And I had never done puja to him. And so we were all there getting everything ready, and all of a sudden you can feel the minute he walks in, because everybody shifts and the energy shifts. And I was doing something with the fruit, and I turned around, and I got to imitate it. It was just unbelievable. So he's got the robe on, but he doesn't just walk up to his asan. He's like, I started to cry, and I couldn't stop crying. So when it got to the puja part, and I even had this slop coming down. I remember to wipe my nose while I was waving the lamp. And then I took a camera, and he had told me I could not take any pictures. But I snuck in the back, and I was like, just because he had the robe on. That roll came out black. Black, not one photo. But anyway, so it was the best Christmas ever.